Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have this really glamorous Valentine's Day look for you. I wanted to play around with some pinks and some reds just because, you know, like I said, it is Valentine's Day. It's really achievable. I use more higher end brands, but I'm definitely going to be using some drugstore products on my next video, which is going to be the Monday before Valentine's Day, but I wanted to give you some time just in case you did like this look. So without further rambling, I'm going to get on with the tutorial. Don't forget, if you are new here, to please subscribe and join the Glam Fam. And also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it helps me to know what exactly you guys like to see. And don't forget to turn on that post notification bell just so that you can see all of my uploads. And thank you to all of you who are watching. My name is Victoria, and let's get on with the tutorial. All right, so let's get into this. I hope you guys have a really happy Valentine's Day, by the way. So just to begin with, we are going to go ahead and prime the face. So I'm going to work on my face first, and then I'm going to work on my eyes. And I'm really going to try to be more detailed with the eye portion of this look, just so you guys could really follow and keep up and hopefully achieve the same look that I achieved. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a generous amount of that product, the Tatcha Silk Base Canvas, and I'm just kind of working it into any of my pores or any fine line areas. Now I'm trying to show you that I'm using the Becca Backlight Priming Filter, and I love this stuff just to bring some luminosity. I know I say that in all of my tutorials, but just to bring some life back into my skin and give me a really nice glowy finish. So if you want that like kind of J-Lo skin, glowy skin look, this is definitely what you want to use as a primer underneath your foundation. So this kind of just makes it look a lot more glowy, a lot more natural. Your skin, it sits so nicely on the skin. It doesn't make you look oily or anything like that. And now I'm using the Lancome Teint Idole foundation, and I'm in the shade 425 Bisque W. And yeah, now all I'm doing is I'm using a foundation brush, and I like to just kind of pack this foundation on. It dries pretty quickly, so you want to make sure that you're working fairly quickly after you draw this on, because I wanted it to be full coverage and I wanted it to last. And this foundation is so nice, it really doesn't feel like you're wearing anything at all. I'm definitely going to do a review and a wear test on this foundation so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, and you don't just take my word for it. So now all I'm using is my Morphe blending brush, my foundation stippling brush, and I love this. It really does buff in the foundation really nicely. And the reason why I'm doing that is I feel like when you're using a foundation and you want it to be full coverage, using a brush always works best. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use my favorite product, and that's the Grande Lips. It's a lip plumper and hydrator, and I like to use this like before I even start out with my makeup tutorial, just to kind of give some nice hydration and plumpness to the lips. But I forgot today, so I'm making sure I catch that before the end. So just go ahead and put a generous amount. It really just makes everything so nice and hydrated on your lips, and my lips have been so dry this winter. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that everything is blended in nicely. And after I use a brush, I always go back with a damp beauty blender just to make sure I don't have any streaky lines or anything like that, because you don't want anybody to know that you have foundation on. So go ahead and just kind of buff that in. I have this gross scar on my neck, so yeah, I'm just letting you know. And now I'm using the Fenty concealer in the shade 310. This is such a nice concealer, and it's not full coverage, it's medium coverage, but it's enough coverage for me. And it just wears so nicely throughout the day. It doesn't crease too much, and it just kind of melts into your skin and looks like your skin. And I'm just adding it down the bridge of my nose and on my chin, just to balance out the colors that I have going on with this foundation. And I'm putting some on my forehead, and I like to use my brush for that, but underneath my eyes I always like to use my damp beauty blender. It's just a lot more softer, and it just blends out really nicely, and it doesn't tug too much. I just kind of can pounce it and do that. And the reason I'm smiling there is just so that I can kind of get the concealer around my smile lines. This way it doesn't settle in awkwardly. I don't know how to explain it, but basically it doesn't kind of just like sit in those lines later when I am smiling. I kind of just buffed it in while I did that. And now I'm just going on the top of my nose, just, you know, buffing everything in. Always go back when you have like a lighter concealer and a darker foundation and use the brush or the beauty blender that you use to pack that product on and just kind of go over and blend out any harsh edges. Make sure that everything kind of flows seamlessly. There's no problem with it being a little lighter under your eyes. Just make sure that it's not like light and then dark and stripes. You know, it's crazy. So definitely be careful with this Fenty powder. This is the Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Banana. I'm gonna go ahead and it has a sifter, so that's why I tell you to be careful so nothing falls out on you. But also be careful with how much you use, because as you'll see here, boom, I got that on my, I got it on my hair all over. But the reason I wanted to set my face with this stuff is because it really does magic. I don't know what the heck it does, but it like fills in all my pores, doesn't give me any lines. It sits so nicely. It doesn't like dehydrate my skin. It just is really such a nice setting powder. So I just go ahead and set everywhere with that, and I just puff out my smile lines just so nothing settles in there. And it's such a nice, really, really, really nice setting powder. You guys know that I love my MAC Patrick Star, but I think that this beat that out. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and bake under the eyes because I'm gonna go ahead and take care of my eye look now. And I just kind of want to leave some setting powder there because the Anastasia eyeshadows are really pigmented and I don't want that messing up what I have as a base on my skin. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just leaving that there to bake. And like I said, it doesn't dry you out, so you don't have to worry about your under eyes looking dry because, like I said, I really do have dry skin right now. And now I'm going to be using the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. And all I'm doing is I'm just taking a flat shader brush and just going all over my lid. As you can see, I have discoloration and I have freckles on there. So sometimes it makes my eyeshadows look looks different than what it would look like on somebody who didn't have pigmented eyelids or freckles on there. So I just go ahead and use this, and it really does help me to make my eyeshadow last a really long time. And I'm using the Modern Renaissance palette, and I love this palette. It's so nice. It does have fallout. That's the only thing that stinks, but you know, you get what you get. It's really beautiful. It's super pigmented, so I would definitely recommend it. Now I'm just using the MAC 224 brush and the colored Golden Ochre. And I'm just going back and forth in windshield wiper motions in the crease area. The reason I'm doing this is so that the colors kind of blend out really nicely with the more darker tones that I'm going to be using. This is more of a dramatic look, but still really simple and sexy and something fun for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to go in again with that same brush into burnt orange and just go right underneath where I had just put in that transition color. So I'm just going back and forth, windshield wiper motions and circular motions as well when I get into the inner corner, just so I can make sure that I get that shade in there nicely. And now I'm just working on the other eye. Just make sure that you blend. If you blend, then you know this look will come out really, really nicely. And I love the MAC 224 brush, but if you have any other brushes, like if you have any other fluffy brushes that you love, then definitely work with that. I would definitely use a fluffy shader brush though. Don't use a flat shader brush until this next step. And that is to go in with Love Letter on a flatter shader brush. So what I use is the Morphe M445 or M433, I believe. And I will link that down below. And I'm just using Love Letter and packing it right underneath that transition color, focusing it mainly on the sides and the outer corners. So basically the inner corner right there and then the outer corner. And I'm just kind of focusing that pigment in those areas. And also in the crease area, we're gonna go with the halo look today. I really like halo looks when you want something a little dramatic but not too crazy. So not too smoky, but you know, something with a little pop of color that really opens up the eyes. So again, I'm just taking that shade and going back and forth. When you get to the outer corner, kind of pack it towards the middle. So your darkest shade kind of you want it closer to the middle of your lid, and then you kind of buffing it out on the sides, just so it kind of, you know, buffs out really nicely, it blends really nicely, and you're preparing yourself for that pop of color. And now I'm just going back in with the burnt orange, and I'm just going over top just to kind of take out, you know, just to blend any of those harsh edges from that Love Letter color, because it is such a pigmented and dramatic color. You definitely don't want to leave it just like blah there, like, hey, I'm here. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and use the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. I really like this, not for underneath my eyes, but to cut out my crease and to do like this halo eye right here, because some of my other concealers, they seem to pick up the color that's underneath it. So like, let's say I put this down and I would blend it in, like it would be a lighter pink. But this foundation, I mean this concealer, it does not do that, and I really, really like it for that. Underneath my eyes though, no, it's a little too thick. It accentuates a lot of texture underneath my eyes. I have a review on that, so I'll link that here. But for, like, as you can see, it really didn't change any of the color. It looks so great. It's beautiful. It packs everything nicely. And I just pop that onto the center of my lids. And the key with this is to make sure that it's not wet, but that it's tacky. So if you keep on patting it like this, and not being perfect, because we're gonna blend with the other colors, but just packing it on like that, you'll feel that it gets tacky and it's not wet. Because if you put on eyeshadow over top and it's wet, it's just gonna be crazy. Now I'm gonna use the shade Vermeer, and I'm just gonna use my finger and pat that in the center of my lid. You don't have to be super perfect, but try to get it just where you put that that concealer down. And the reason being that it's just kind of harder with these shimmer shadows, because they're so highly pigmented, to kind of erase that from your crease area. But it's doable, but you know, you just want to do the least amount of work. So here I did get it up there a little bit, so now I'm gonna have to go back in with the M433 and the Love Letter shade. And now, as you can see, I'm just intensifying the outer corners. So like I said, closer to the center of your lid, you want the most color, and then diffuse it out as you're going towards the outer corner of your eye. Go ahead and just go over top and just diffuse all that harshness that you see there. Just kind of blend it in and go back and forth, packing it. You're going to be patting it at times when you get into the inner corners, just because you don't have a lot of space there. And you're just going to keep on, like I said, windshield wiper motions on top. Now I'm using more of a fluffier pencil brush, so it's a lot more stiffer. And I'm using the color Venetian Red because I wanted this look to be intense and really sexy and really, you know, reminiscent of Valentine's Day. So these colors are so beautiful. Red, pink, silver. It's like a pinky silver. It just reminds me so much of Valentine's Day. And Modern Renaissance just reminds me of love. So I was gravitating towards this palette for this look. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be doing a more drugstore friendly look, and stay tuned for that. That will be next Monday. So yeah, now I'm just, like I said, packing in those colors and blending it out. The key is blending when you're doing a halo eye or any dramatic eye. Definitely take the time to blend it out. Like I said, if you do it right the first time, you don't feel like it looks all messed up and nasty throughout the day. Now I'm taking tempera and I'm just going underneath my brow bone. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want everything to tie in together. I don't want to have like a flesh tone brow bone and then all this drama going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that there, and then I'm going to take my MAC 224 brush and kind of blend everything together. And it looks a little crazy right now because I don't have brows on. But once the brows are on, everything pops. So definitely happy now my brows are on. And I use the ColourPop brow pencil for that in black and brown. And I'm just wiping away that baking powder And like, as you can see, it just sets everything so nicely, and it's just the right tone for my skin color. So definitely just take everything out of the way. Now I'm using the Inglot Gel Liner because that stuff is dark and it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm just taking a pencil line brush and just going over top of my lashes and adding some mascara. And I'm using the Colossal Big Shot Blackest Black mascara for that. Now I'm going on my lower lash line, and all I'm using is Love Letter and then Vermeer in the center. So I'm taking Love Letter and I'm just going all over the lower lash line. So just go ahead and tie that in. Make sure that you're getting it so that it touches the outer corner of the upper lid, just so everything kind of blends in really nicely, not stopping before you reach that shade in the corner. So it really just kind of gives you that cat eye effect, and it ties everything in so nicely, as you can see. And then now I'm just using that Vermeer color in the center, exactly like underneath where it is on top of the lids, and just go ahead and add that in. And it, as you can see, it just kind of makes your eyes pop so nicely. Like, do you see that? It's just gorgeous. I love it. And now I'm going to take that same Vermeer shade and go onto the inner corners, just so that pops so nicely, and it kind of gives it a nice muted pink color because it's blending in with that Love Letter, so it just matches so perfectly. And then yes, I'm just going to go ahead and just keep on highlighting that area to as bright as you want it to be. I love the look, I really do. Now I'm going in with Park Avenue Princess. This is from Tarte. It's their bronzing kit, and just honestly, I'm just going to use every single shade there and just go ahead and bronze up. So I just mix everything because it gives you like the most beautiful shade, honestly. And they have a shade in there for everyone. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then, yeah, I realized I had like some black eyeshadow or something on that brush, so I was really upset. But it didn't do much of a difference, so it was all right. I was able to salvage it. And I was just using that grayer tone in that palette. Now I'm using my favorite highlight, one of my favorite highlights. I feel like I haven't used it in such a long time, and that's the Becca Champagne Pop highlight. Just going over top and just on my cheekbones, on the, down the bridge of my nose, really mainly on the tip of my nose, and just everywhere. You want to glow, girl. This is your time to shine. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Stepping Out from Smashbox. It's my favorite liquid lipstick. It's a nice nude color, and which is perfect because we have drama going on the eyes. We don't want that on the lips. And I'm using NYX Natural. That's the shade. It's called Natural. And I'm just lining my lips with that NYX Lip Liner, and then going ahead and adding that Stepping Out. I also like Stepping Out because it's kind of like a pinky brown color, so it ties in really, really nicely, and it's so comfortable. It lasts a long time, and it's comfortable on the lips. And now I'm just using Mario Badescu's setting spray, letting my hair down, and make sure you do your hair, girl. And yeah, I'm just letting you see that glow. I love it, and I hope you guys have a really awesome Valentine's Day. Peace and love. Happy Valentine's Day, guys.